Houston, we have a problem. Yesterday, when I went to go check on the chickens, I was feeding them. Started with the first shelter in the formation. Went to the last one, and on the last one I noticed something that I had not seen before. Some scat, I'm thinking raccoon or possum, on top of the chicken tractor. So I said, well, if it was climbing on top of this thing, it was probably climbing around them. So I went to the back doors, or the back walls on each of the tractors, where the steel folds down, and I saw that something was checking out the chickens, standing on top of that steel, left footprints on every single chicken tractor. And on the last one, where I found the little turd, was a spot where they dug. They didn't really dig. I can't say they dug. They scratched at the ground next to the wall with not good intentions. So what I did is put a live trap out there last night with a marshmallow and peanut butter on it. I've heard from people who are trying to catch varmint that is like heroin or crack cocaine to most all small critters. We are processing these guys in less than a week. It's Monday now. We will be catching the first 2 tractors on Thursday night, processing them Friday, and doing the last 2 tractors, catching those ones Friday night, processing them Saturday. So those guys are only out there for another 4 or 5 days, 4 days and 5 days. And we haven't had any predator issues thus far. So we're going to go out there. We are going to talk about predators and our chicken tractors, and tell you how we've been dealing with predator pressure without a dog and without electric fencing. That might change, but we haven't had a dog, no electric fencing, and we haven't had issues with predators. So we're going to go see if we got anything in that live trap, if there's any more signs of things crawling around on the tractors, and we have ways of relocating those animals to a better home. A better home. That's what we'll call it. I can show you before we check the live trap. You can see the footprints of the guy who was checking this back corner. Walked. Same thing on this back corner. You can see this is why we have a hardware cloth 12 inches up, because the chickens will sleep right against this back wall, and critters can stick their arm through and grab a wing, grab a neck. So all along this back portion, on the one chicken tractor where we have chicken wire, this is the first one we made very cheaply. All the lumber was free, the roofing was free. The only thing we had to buy was the 2-foot tall chicken wire and the hardware cloth. So whatever was here looking at the backs of these wasn't able to stick their hand through, and that was on purpose, because we used 1/2-inch hardware cloth on the backs of all these for that reason. So we came to this one, looked around. I'm not seeing any digging. Same thing on this one, except there's footprints here and on this side, and I found the turd up here. So it climbed up on top, walked around, looked down inside, and here is the live trap. Nothing. But that's good. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I just wanted to give them something that's better than a chicken, that's easier to get. So if something comes through here, they're probably going there first. See, this is where they dug yesterday. You see the stand of wild carrot we have in this area. It's a very woody stem, very hard and woody stem. So I imagine something trying to dig would probably bust their paws up a decent amount trying to dig through that. Hey, I'm happy. I keep telling my brothers and my dad that it's been going so well with raising these guys. This is our third batch of 300, and it's been going so well processing them and packaging them and all that I'm just kind of dreading. I feel like something bad is going to happen, and I was afraid that this was going to be that bad thing, but I don't think it will be. Knock on wood. We only have 5 days to go, and no issues with predators. So, as you can see, we talked about it a little bit. We built these tractors to be predator proof, except for tunneling. We did have ideas of making spike strips that we could put in the dirt when we move them. That way they would be 100% predator proof, so anything trying to dig underneath would get poked. We didn't end up doing that because that would just take too much time, because you'd have to pull those up on every side except the back where we have that panel. And then we thought of doing something like this, but with chicken wire, this 2-foot chicken wire that we use, to make sort of a frame that would be hinged on the back just like this, but it would hinge down and lay on the ground all around it, so that if anything had to dig, they would have to dig 2 feet in one night, which would have kept most all of the predators out. All of them, I would venture to say. As you see, we do not have a dog out here. We don't have a dog to keep predators away. In fact, the neighbor kitty corner of us, nice guy, great guy, actually feeds fox in his backyard. So we know that there's predators here, and we have heard people tell us they've driven by and have seen fox on top of these, figuring out how to get in, but they haven't yet. And I know that there's raccoon, and I know that there's skunk. I see skunk crossing the road here from the neighbor's property often enough to know that they're here. So that's why we made these guys very tightly built. Very, I mean, there's not a 1-inch space anywhere on here where something could get through, except for the bottom. So we also made these very heavy. The roofing is steel. We all used 2x material for everything except the corner supports, the roof supports right there. So these things probably weigh, I don't know, 200, a little over 200 pounds maybe. So they're very heavy, and they hug the ground very well. One thing that has helped us out greatly is that this pasture is very level. When I mean level, I mean there's maybe, we've never had more than 1 inch space beneath the bottom of the chicken tractor. 99% of the time you will pull it onto new ground and it will be flat. I mean flat, and because it's so heavy, it pushes right to the ground. So there's no way anything can just shimmy underneath without having to dig. Something else we did from Pastured Poultry's books is that Avram went around the perimeter of this pasture and mowed like a trail where we have been driving, just so that there's a section of it that that there's no tall grass. And in the book, and I've seen this in real life, predators, they lurk at the edge, right? You see them, little beady little eyes glowing next to the woods. right where they have cover. So we wanted to break up that cover. So this whole fence line behind me and by the gates and then around the whole pasture, there's probably like an 8-foot path where it's mowed quite short. So we don't have an electric fence, we don't have a dog, and I know there are people out there screaming at me right now saying I'm crazy. I know. We do have an electric fence that we were going to use if we had issues with predators. Doesn't look like we're going to have to do that. But we can't have a dog here because my brother lives a half a mile that way. He does have a dog, but it's inside most of the time. It's not a Pyrenees, it's a retriever lab mix, I believe. The neighbors have dogs. I'm not worried about a neighbor dog coming in and getting into these chicken tractors because they physically can't. Except for this chicken wire one, maybe. Hold on, some cars go by. It's getting busy. Everyone heading to work. And as you can tell, we're on a corner right now. So the furthest chicken tractor for me, it's only about 20 feet from the road. So I think that traffic might be helping keep the varmints away, perhaps. I'm not sure. But whatever we have been doing has been working because we know for a fact that they're here. We know that they're looking at these tractors. They have been for a long time, but now I've just been able to see their footprints on there because these have been dirty, right? Because they've been used, so now they're dirty. And it was damp, so it really softened up that layer of grime so that they left clean footprints where they were looking. So we know they're here. We know they're trying to figure out how to get in. They haven't yet, and they haven't for 5 months. Not 5 months. When did we start this? May, June, July, August, September. So 4.5 months these chicken tractors have been out here, and nothing has attempted to get in until the night before last. And it was unsuccessful. So we have a live trap out now. I have got a Freedom Seed dispenser in the back of my vehicle if any varmint should choose to show itself. With no dog, no electric fence, that's how we're doing it. And people will tell you that you do not do pastured poultry unless you have a dog. I would agree with them. If I lived right here, if I lived on this piece of property, I would have a dog, but I don't. So we made sure to take precautions building these heavy so they were on the ground, being extra precautious that there were no spaces on the part where the tractor meets the ground. Built them extremely sturdy. There is not a crack or crevice anything can get through. And using hardware cloth so that their grubby little hands can't even fit in there to grab a chicken wing or a chicken neck.